Yo, what is up, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're here again, round two. Yeah, round two locals. Well, guess what we're playing against again? We're playing against Fire King. Yeah, not the same player, but we did play against another Fire King deck back to back, which is crazy. We did win the roll here, and so that's pretty cool. Definitely like winning the roll, although I definitely get scared when I win the roll. Like, I almost rather lose the roll and open like a solid hand trap hand with a couple engine cards and go first, and then potentially just like brick and not play. We did not do that today, though. We did open Ice Jade Brand Squad, which is cool because now, you know, I get a chance to see how Lancia works out. Funny enough, Gamir actually feels way stronger to this matchup than I think Lancia would have felt. You'll see the impact here in a moment. Another thing here, so there's a moment here where I don't know if they changed anything. It looks like I have Poseidra, so that's really interesting actually. So I have Poseidra in hand, I have Droll and Lockbird, and I have something else. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it's Ash Blossom, I don't know. But so I am debating my Neptibus effect here. Oh, Droplet. I'm debating my Neptibus effect here, and I can tell that he's trying to draw me on resolution here just by like the manner of his reaction to what I'm doing. And with that, I didn't know how to really change up the play line here. So one thought was, so I have Sidra in hand, so Shrine technically isn't as necessary, although you still want Shrine for the banish discard pop effect. You know, so I don't know if there is a better card here to actually grab that maybe not. I don't think sending Sidra, maybe, and we already use squad effect, so I don't think that's it either. No, probably sending Dragoons there is just fine. Just to have a 4 rotation. Do grab the Shrine here, so I think is also fine. A little awkward with the Poseidra in hand, but we may do. I mean, we're still getting our 2 bodies here, which is important. And then, yeah, and then we grab Teus because we have the Sidra in hand, so we're discarding that. We're using squad effect, discarding Sidra to make the rank 7 here. Now, I did debate going into just Gaios and passing here, but the thing is I needed to get to a Levy play. So I wanted I valued the Prince Sidra rotation over the just the Gaios negate, because Lancia and Gaios do the same thing as each other. Like, you know, they just negate face-up monster effects. So having the Gaios there isn't really too important. And honestly, you know, and then in this scenario, Imperm does the exact, like, was always getting played, and if anything, getting used up on the trite is probably better than him holding it and hitting my Lancia with it. You know, depending on how the game rolls out. Especially if I did play Gamir probably would have been a better card here, as we will see in a moment. But yeah, the hope was to go Poseidon. I go trite, summon a guy, and then like Dragoons or whatever, and then go like Poseidra, Dragoons, go to the grave, summon Coral, summon 3 bodies back, and then I can like. The Coral probably just gets wasted there. I don't think there's anything like some. No, actually, I did that back. You can go Coral, summon back Ran, and then you can link off the Prince and the Coral, make a King defend the Lancia, and then you can make a Levy with the 2/3s, so add Prince back to hand, potentially go into Lacia with the Ran and Levy. Probably wouldn't, but you could do that. Yeah, so that was definitely the line. Now, getting hit on the trite here is unfortunate, but I mean, could have been worse. And Droll as well. So it's okay. You know, it's okay. And, you know, we have the Lancia as a backup, and so I was very interested to see how this card plays out. Now, unfortunately, I think against this in particular matchup, it's not that great, just because it dies so fast. So I have Droll and Droplet here, and the Droll is obviously very awkward because, you know, I need, I don't particularly want to send my trite, but honestly, the best card to send for Droplet is probably General off the Lancia. But yeah, he did not activate Island yet, and he's activating this normal summon effect. I don't remember exactly what it does, but I don't think I want it to happen. And they always have Kieran, so I decided to do like the Droplet play, and yeah, just, you know, I figured he can't activate a monster effect in response. He won't be able to dodge. We'll see how he plays from here. Now, he's able to go island and get Big Bird, and so maybe it didn't matter at all. I'm not sure exactly how much that. I'm not sure exactly how much this level 4 was really doing for him. I still don't exactly know how these cards play, but he does end up going Big Bird effect, popping Kieran. Yeah, popping the Kieran, and the Kieran's gonna pop my Lancia. So now I got some like chain links resolving, where I'm not sure exactly how this is playing out. So he goes to Kieran, pops, and then I think that was its on summon effect. Oh no, that was this is his on summon effect is happening now. Yeah, because he popped Kieran to add Big Bird, and then yeah, I'm not exactly sure how this is playing out, but there's things happening. Eventually, Lancia does come out to the field, and this is activating his Chain Link 1 that, when destroyed, summons a fire from grave. Now, I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to interact with this. Like, I felt like hitting this was more important because it was a negate he can have on the follow-up, and I knew I was getting rid of the field spell here, and I banished the field spell in his hand. Oh, important to note that he does play 2 field spells. Interesting. Yeah, so we're trying to decide what the right card here is to banish. Now, this is the card he's going to summon, but it doesn't matter that he's going to summon that because it's just going to die right away, and it's already used its float effect. So I decided to get rid of this card because I'm more afraid of some amount of follow-up negate because I am on 0 cards, rather than being afraid of, you know, the Kieran effect here. As I don't think the Kieran will do much. Now he does get to summon this Big Bird off of his level 4. Then when his level 4 is destroyed by a card effect, he can special this from his deck. Now there's nothing I can really do about it here. He does go into Typhon, which basically puts us into a simplified game state. And yeah, you know, could I have played this out better? I mean, so the thing is if I have Gamir, Gamir could 100% deal with the field spell in a very fashionable sense, which would have been very nice. Even hitting that to level 4 would have been kind of crazy, because it just banishes off the field. That would be a really awkward scenario. I have to like droplet as well, and there's a lot going on there. But yeah, so he just draws and attacks. End phase, I banish Shrine, draw the Imperm. Yeah, or I discard Imperm, draw Pike, and I draw a squad for turn. So Pike squad, pretty gnarly as a follow-up play here, and that really just gets me back in the game. You know, it's a 2-card combo deck. There's a lot of 2-card combo variations you can draw, and we just managed to hit one of them. Yeah, so this is pretty good here. Obviously, I'm playing off of he has 1 other card in hand, and you might as well be respecting this card, which I'm pretty sure I do. You probably, especially like when the game state is this simplified, and once you clear the last, once you're like, so I'm in a scenario where there's only 1 unknown card, and since I have the ability to be able to minstrel it, I would always take that over just putting him on Better Habit, because you don't need to put him on Better Habit here because there is another line. You really only want to put him on that Better Habit mindset when it's your only win condition available. And here I'm seeing that, you know, I could definitely play for a minute here. Now, I could have played this a little differently as well. I decided to just go for a Dweller and turn off his graveyard because he's on 1 card, and I'm thinking, what could his 1 card do to me when I have a Shrine pop? Because I do have infantry in hand plus no graveyard. It's like, how are you playing off that? Even if you summon back to Typhon, I'm not worried. So this felt like totally fine. You know, it's a floodgate plus a pop, so it's like a detonator pop and Dweller. Yeah, so this was fine. And so I just swing for a little bit of damage here and just pass play. I don't have to try and win. I want to try and win. Like I knew that I could go like, okay, if I go Bahamut and summon Toad, I can search, and then I can go like Bahamut Toad to Coral summon, and then get a Toad add back, and like, what card do I add back? And I didn't really actually really feel like thinking that far ahead. I just thought this will probably do me well as well. Plus I have the Dweller Dragoon search as well, so we were feeling pretty good there. Yeah, so that was an interesting game. Really cool matchup. It's very interesting how these decks match up against each other. The only thing I noticed is that it's very hard for the water deck, I feel like, to get into the extra deck here. Oh, also thinking back, also taking a quick note back to when I did get drolled here. This is something I always try and look for when I do get drolled is, would Deep Seeking have done anything for me there? And unfortunately, no. Deep Seeking would not have been very impactful, as if I would have gone, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but maybe it would have been impactful because I would have gone Shrine, Tribute, Prince, Summon Deep Sea King, and then I would have had to go, and then Prince would have summoned, real quick. So, in this scenario right here, actually, just looking back, because this is important to look back at when we are, looking at Deep Sea King versus Prince, versus Pure, and how Deep Sea King would have felt. Now, this is also ignoring the fact that by playing Deep Sea King, you are now playing, 4 other fish cards that you could have, that I could have very much opened here and maybe had a better or worse hand. But in the event I did not open any of those cards, how would Deep Sea King have affected this board? Well, I would have summoned Deep Sea King here, and then Prince would have summoned back the, if I'm summoning, probably summoning Dragoons here. We're probably summoning Dragoons because we're assuming we're going to be able to make some rank 4 plays. Even though probably summoning Squad might be the better play, although it doesn't really matter. We probably summon Dragoons, and then we go Deep Sea King, we discard. I have Droplet, I have Sidra and Droll in my hand. Probably discarding. See, I have the Sidra, when probably should go. No, you probably just discard like the Droll most likely. I don't know. Who knows? Droll or Droplet. You discard one of those two. It gets impermed for sure. And then you go Sidra. You can send Dragoon, summon Sidra, and then you can rank 7 into anything here. And then I guess you get that line. So I guess that's the one interesting note, because then your Sidra summon back, you'd have to discard the last card in your hand. But that'd be fine. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so if we're objective here, playing Deep Sea King would have actually been a little more advantageous, because by playing Deep Sea King, it puts him on needing 3 hand traps, and I don't think he had 3 hand traps for 1, and that would have got me the M board I actually was going for here, where I was going for this Shrine summon to Teus. This Prince was going to summon back a Squad, and then Squad was going to discard Sidra to make level 7s. I was going to trite, summon back a monster, link 2 for Coral, Sidra, summon back Squad, Shrine, and Prince. And now I have, 2 level 3s for a Levy rotation to put the Prince back in my hand. So that way I can discard it to summon the Sidra from my graveyard. And what Deep Sea King would have done there is just have been another card he has interrupt. So where I get stopped here on the trite by 1 imperm, the imperm would have been used on the Deep Sea King, and then following up with the Sidra, I would have been able to get this rotation play I would have been going for, which would have allowed me an untargetable Lancia, a potential Lacia, plus a King target protection. And so while he can still target the Kieran with the, he still target Lancia with the Kieran. I would have multiple floaters on board, which would have been very different from the situation I was dealing with. Yeah, so very interesting. Yeah, so it's something to take into account. Deep Sea King would have been stronger in this game, and we'll move on. So I hope you guys bear with me for that one. So we're going second here. Here's game 2. And I start with the Prulia. Very nice. Actually, really solid opener. I have Ash, Droplet, Prulia, and Teus Dragoon. So it's just like, that's a hand. That's a hand, brother. And he goes extra. We're ashing that every day of the week. This is the best card in this deck. Probably to Ash. I draw another Ash off the normal summon. Not great, but it's the best, probably non-engine you'd want to draw. Especially in this versus this matchup. Although I will say I think I use it incorrectly. We'll get there when we get there. But yeah, so Baby Bird adds continue spell, adds field spell. This is very typical, and just kind of wanted to see how far he goes into Prulia. I actually thought he had to go farther. Like I was assuming he was going to summon Big Bird here, but he does not. He sets a card and he passes. So I mean that basically tells me he has Kieran. So I need to deal with that. But yeah, so I draw Pike. So Pike's not a horrible draw here, just because it's a normal summon, it's a discard on summon. So yeah, not bad. He has a Valor in hand. I'm not too worried about that. The soft hand traps really don't impact water too much. They really only impact when, like, maybe on a Bahamut, but you almost don't even care sometimes because you're getting the Dragoon Search anyways. I'd say most of the time Veiler is probably the most impactful. Probably on depending on what you're protecting, a Sidra spin back, the XYZ Poseidra trying to send back 3, or the Trite summon. Depending on if you needed the body or not, those are probably the 3 most impactful. Even Coral as well is not bad, but the main deck monsters, it seems very lackluster, unless you're like double hand trapping something. But yeah, so we add Shrine and Prince off the Teus and Dragoons. I think adding Prince was the right target. I was almost always planning on normal summoning the Pike, but yeah, but the Prince is still nice because it still acts as an extender. One of the best things about Prince is the amount of utility it has. The fact that it is a Monster Reborn as well, so it just acts as a starter and extender in multiple fashions. But yeah, so he gets my Taste off the field with the Kieran Pop here. We don't really care. He goes Baby Bird effect to add. Now, the reason I asked this was because I was thinking, I think I made a misjudgment here, and I was valuing the fact that I was afraid of him getting an Afterburner to hand. But here's the thing about him getting Afterburner to hand. I don't think I need to be afraid of an Afterburner because I think that I should be assuming I'm going to clear his board. And I think by being afraid of Afterburner, it's a little silly. Like, that card needs other cards in the field to play. It also targets, so that also makes it less good against my deck. Plus, most of the time, you're honestly leaving the board up on like a Toad or Alacia, or you have nothing on board that you care about, and you just have a Shrine Engrave. So with all these factors in mind, I think I could have held that. There's probably better cards that I'm probably going to see that I could have hit instead. So there'll be something I need to look out for this match. Now, he also could have added the Continuous spell for a follow-up island play. But that's here nor there. So I go Pike, discard Prince. He Veilers it. I'm like, that's fine. Do not care. And now he goes into a rank 8. At this point, I also don't think that set card is Afterburner. I'm thinking it's like, you know, Imperm or maybe a Bluff. He goes to rank 8 here to try and destroy my Dragoons. And I have the Droplet, so I send Pike, and then I'm left on my last card, which is Shrine, send Dragoons. Now, here is another scenario where I think, So looking at this, I'm once again curious to see how do we think playing Deep Seeking affects how this is going to play out. So originally I go, obviously we're not playing Deep Seeking, so I summon Sidra, which is the best card to summon here, by sending Dragoons on my field, and then sending Squad to target his back row, and this is where he has the Afterburner. Now, if I don't, if I summon Deep Seeking, I send Dragoons from my field. Dragoons will grab me Prince, and then Deep Seeking will summon to the field. Right? Is Dragoons really gonna grab me Prince there? It kind of has to, because if it grabs me Squad and he pops it, then I can't even discard the Squad. So I think I have to grab Prince, which also isn't very good, because then I normal summon Prince and then he just pops the whole board. And I had no other cards. So yeah, I think this is a scenario where Deep Seeking would not have actually done anything for me here. I don't think I had enough to play through with a Deep Seeking. So I think Sidra was actually the correct line here. I don't think there's a way where Deep Seeking can actually resolve, or it can be baited with then having follow up. At least Sidra here, it does force out the Afterburner, and then allows my Squad to resolve, being able to get Prince to field, which I still have not activated this turn. And now that he's on 0 interruptions, we're feeling a little bit better outside of the fact that he just gets 2 more monsters back. Because I can't actually do anything from here. Well, I mean, actually, I'd like to see what I did, because I have I already used Prince's effect. Yeah, already using Prince's Graveyard effect, I think, is what cost me here. Now, it's something that couldn't be helped. If I didn't use the Prince's effect, I wouldn't be able to play it by this point. But that is it. that is it, because since I can't use Prince as a revival effect, in a perfect world, you could go like Poseidra, send Prince, and then summon the other Poseidra from the graveyard, rank 7 to Trite, summon Poseidra, send back, you know, do all the things. But we did not have that here. Now, there was another line I did momentarily think of, which was grabbing Diva off the Dragoons that I sent from Prince. Or I think I sent that from Sidra, right? Yeah. So I added. How did I get this Prince to hand? I mean the infantry. Oh, infantry was added off the Dragoons from like a moment ago, and then Prince was summoned off of Squad. Squad sent Dragoons to add Dragoons. Dragoons add Sidra, and now it's like, what do you do from here? And I couldn't play as much as I wanted to. There is another line here though where you can get yourself to a Diva, because you could go. So the other issue here is that he has protection. He has 2 forms of protection for this field spell. He has the Afterburner, which, like, as a Fire King card is destroyed, you can banish this instead. And then he also has the Continue spell, which I guess does pop a fire. I don't remember if it pops a fire from hand or field or just hand. So that would definitely change how strong this card is right now. But trying to figure out what is the line to get over this board here, I do not know. Yeah, hard to say indeed. And because I'm also afraid of, like, I don't want to kill Baby Bird because he just gets it back to hand. Now I think it does more in his hand than it does on the field. And then I don't think I can kill the Big Bird and kill Kieran. So we are in a tough nut. Even, like, I guess Zealantis would have been a pretty good card here. Funny enough, because if I did search the Diva off those Dragoons, and like plan to get that infantry in my graveyard somehow, which I don't know if exactly how I can, but I feel like I probably can, or if I don't already have one engraved, then I could go like Coral Summon infantry second normal, summon Diva summon a guy, and then make Zealantis. That is an option as well. But if I did not play Zealantis in this list. But yeah, so we end up just tacking over the Kieran. There's not really much else I can do. He already uses Graveyard Effect. I just make a follow-up Lacia, and I have Prince in hand. I have Infantry in hand, so I have 2 forms of disruption plus Infantry in my deck. The thing is, though, the destruction effects are not very strong against Fire Kings, and so it did not feel like that great. Now, the only thing I'm still thinking about here is the Ash Blossom I had currently. Where is it? Or where could have that Ash Blossom been used instead of the Baby Bird? But so if he did resolve Baby Bird, he's probably grabbing a second Afterburner from his deck, most likely, unless there's like another card that I'm not thinking of. But he starts to turn off with Baby Bird into an Anima. So I'm assuming so we can go for a Little Knight play, and I don't want him to Little Knight my anything, I guess. So I just say, all right, this is a good spot. I will try and discard infantry to pop the Anima. I don't remember what I draw here. Might have been a Droll or something. I don't think it was anything too important. But then he does go. Yes. Okay. This is it. This is where the Ash should have been held, because I think he'd have Afterburner, and Afterburner would allow him to pop his Big Bird to do something, but I don't think it floats into anything when it gets destroyed by card effect. And yeah, if I would have just held the Ash Blossom, he would have gone Island. I could have chained Ash, and then he couldn't have popped the fire. He could not have popped the Baron guy. This guy in his hand, and then if he can't pop that, he can't search this or summon it or whatever he's doing. Yep. So that is the point. That is the point. Ash Blossom should not have been used on Baby Bird in this instance. It should have been held for the Island, because the Island is how he's able to play every single turn. Yeah. Okay. So that's what we could take away from this match is, I actually think. Tell me if I'm crazy, guys, but I think that if I just Ash that Island right there, I actually just win this match. I guess not like, outright, but it puts me in a very favorable position, I feel like. Because then he ends up curing. He ends up popping Kieran from his deck to summon this, I think, and then either Kieran destroys the Lacia, and then I don't have to use my Prince here. Lacia is a float effect, sends infantry to summon Sidra, although infantry does nothing because there's nothing on his board that can pop, because the Afterburner protects everything. And then also the Kieran summons back Baby Bird, so he's able to search another Afterburner anyways. So that's unfortunate. And then yeah, and then we go Sidra. It's like there's nothing good to send back. If I send back the island, also there wasn't like a way where I could go like infantry, target island, and then like Sidra target the continuous spell, because he's always had Afterburner's protection for it. So that was unfortunate. He sets the Afterburner. He searched off Baby Bird, so he plays 2 copies, and then yeah, I don't know what he's doing there. Oh, I think I just scoop it up. Yeah, I just especially scoop it up and like, okay, we're going too close to time, and I can't technically grind this out. Like, I have Prince, but I also don't have a 3rd Sidra, and I think I went through both shrines by this point. So yeah, the game was over. I was out of resources, and then we go into game 3 here. I'm gonna start wrapping it up soon. It's getting pretty close to leaving time. So, we draw a squad, 2 Drolls, Imperm, and Ash. So that was unfortunate. We go first and we completely brick. Cannot play at all. Now, this was not the last time that this happened to me today. I'm pretty sure this happened about 4 times in a 4-round local. So that was really unfortunate and definitely left me in a little bit of a salty mood. Not really, actually. Actually, for the most part, I was like, part of me was salty, you know, like you're just gonna be a little salty, but a lot of me was like, you know, whatever, you know, it could just be bad variance, could have been bad deck building. I kind of attribute it to bad deck building a little bit. It was a 40 card deck with 15 non-engine, and it's not like I was cutting down on any of the real consistency cards, but there are some other consistency cards I could have played, so that was unfortunate. I do go for the I did have a nice line here with this little Imperm Ash on his level 4 girl over here, but he does have he plays Dark Hole to help like as a board breaker and a way as an extender to pop his own cards to get into play, and that's nutty because if he didn't Dark Hole his own guy, I think he just stops playing entirely, and if he stopped playing, I would have one on the crackback. And the Drolls are useless here, by the way, and yeah, so I draw Dragoons for turn, which is like, you know, if I was able to make him turn skip, then this would have been insane. He imperms the squad. I'm like, sure. So like, yeah, literally. And so that would have been it. That would have been it. But so Dark Hole definitely saved him really well. Maybe it did. No. Did he add that, or did he always have that? I don't know where the Kieran came from. So maybe he was always fine. I don't know. If he was always fine, then whatever, dude. It's too much to think about. This is a bummer, man. Losing like that. It's just not fun. You know, I'd much rather him just like outplay me, or whatever. Like I felt I was in a pretty good position. I felt pretty confident in myself. Like I felt like I was maneuvering these Fire King boards pretty alright. Definitely wasn't gonna notice that Ash line until watching it just now. Now I see where Ash should be, you know, held for. But yeah, so interesting. The only other thing was I decided to keep in the Drolls because I thought they'd be better than playing a card like Droplet going first, because I feel like going first you want that Droll as a backup, so like you build a half board, full board, whatever, and then you have Droll to like also just, you know, lingering floodgate your opponent while they're trying to break your board. Typically they can't do that. But if these would have been Droplets instead, if we're open double Droplet, I could have set Imperm Droplet. Yeah, probably just set those two, and then when he goes for well, eventually the droplet could have helped with the Omni Negate guy, wherever this Arvada. So technically, like, it could have saved me there. Like, these cards are just useless, and they did absolutely nothing. So that would have been the grace here. Is, although he does have an Ash Blossom, he has Ash Blossom. The Ash Blossom matter? He called by my Ash Blossom. Well, that Ash Blossom was dead, actually, because he called buys it, and then it goes to my turn. Yeah, Droplet. I actually just win the game if I would have not set it in the Drolls. Really odd though, because Drolls I thought was supposed to be good against this deck, and I played against this deck 3 times, and it was only good 1 time, and I think I saw it maybe 4 or 5 times over all 3 matches. So yeah, Droll was a weird card versus the deck. I don't think I like it very much. I think this deck requires you playing against having more impactful hand traps. Like, I never saw an Impulse anytime here. Impulse would have been insane in this matchup, but yeah. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Check out the Discord. Yeah, I don't know. Something. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.